authors were concerned about things that we are concerned about today, which is mostly taxonomy and classification. Okay? They were not ignorant that I found horns in there. They saw these horns depicted, these various instruments, but that wasn't their giant trumpets and horns. They're basically the same thing, okay, in this time period. But there is an iconographical difference. So how do we distinguish them? The easiest thing, this is what Mary Rasmussen said. First of all, you know that conical, cylindrical stuff? That's a George Washington and the cherry tree story. It's never done water. Never. So get that out of your brain. If it's curved, it's a horn. If it's straight, it's a trumpet. That's all there is to it. All there is to it. There are nomenclature switches, of course, but this is how we distinguish horns from trumpets. Right? The marginalia, the margins, depictions, there's angels here playing instruments. Oh, looks like there's a trumpet player down there. And we look and no, it's not. Because we have fingers moving, right? The other clue is you look at the cheeks, they're kind of dimpled in. This is a reference to Athena, the Greek goddess who was playing a reeded instrument. They made fun of her face for being ugly, so she threw away the instrument. Brass players, curiously, Anthony Baines, he makes a comment on this in the Middle Ages, they're always shown with puffed cheeks. Notice the difference between the there, okay? Now, don't mistake this. This is not saying that this is how they played it. This more indicates volume, because we also see bagpipers, which are loud, with puffed cheeks also. So it's more of an indication of playing loud than it is the technique that they use. So don't think that you have to puff your cheeks to play medieval instruments. Trumpets are generally reserved for indoor situations, regal, royal, indoors. We see it depicted here. And by the way, the author, or I should say the supervisor, this is Guillaume Michaud, you know, the Ars Nova guy, him and Philip de Vitry, Forms Fix. Michaud was Armarian, means he was in charge of the poetry, the music, and the writing that came out. So he was a very versatile person. The god Neptune doesn't have indoors, he's outdoors. So when we see trumpets, they're going to be outdoors. Here he is creating a white horse, and we see these fish in there, and I don't think they can puff their cheeks, but they're going to use what would be, I guess, brass instruments. But certainly we have these new scenes, these medieval trumpets that we have depicted here. It was the hunting scenes that got my attention. This is where we saw most of the horns, because there's a lot of hunting with horns. Bird hunting, and we see it coordinated as the dogs and the sticks are flushing birds out. Here, this fellow down here is the guy who coordinates the hunting dogs. Here we see antelope entangled in some shrubs. Notice the hunting horn over here. Okay, let's try that level of interpretation. The guy is killing it's really an ibex, you can see here. Okay, now let's do the typological. Old Testament. Do you know the story in the Old Testament that mentions an animal getting its antlers tangled in the shrubs? What is it? Abraham's going to sacrifice his son. So no, stop. Here, do this instead. And there's a ram tangled in the bushes like that. Okay, so there's your Old Testament reference. And my other clue here is, it seems pretty obvious. Two horns. Old Testament, New Testament. So that clues us in. Now, look, he's got a gash bleeding through the side there. New Testament. Anyone can think of bleeding through the side? Crucifixion. Being killed here, sacrifice, right? Now we do trumpological. We understand that the message here is God's promise, his promise to Abraham, the covenant, and his promise of salvation through Jesus' crucifixion. So that's how they would see it. So that's more than just, oh, it's a guy hitting an animal with an axe. See? So there's a whole lot more to this. This is just understood. It's probably seen this book of hours in an art history book. We have this sow that's being devoured by these salivating dogs, and he's blowing the horn trying to get the dogs off of it. Chamois hunting in the Tyrolean Alps. Notice the long pikes they have to use to spear these things. And up at the very top, we have the hunt coordinator blowing his horn. Catching a unicorn, we need to have a virgin maiden as a trap, and we see this unicorn pup doesn't have its horn yet. It's been captured, and he's got blowing his horn there. Another weird animal I thought is snails. being hunted. And this is a reference to snails that are part of what's known as the Champa Empire, Central Vietnam. They were known to be big, not this big, but good sized ones. And we see it's unfortunate, it's right on the page split right there, there's a guy blowing his horn. The snail is a symbol of humility. It's very easily squashed and usually shown being attacked by peacocks, lions, and a knight. But when a knight is killing the snail, it's usually with a spear or a club, not the honorable sword. Okay? So it's kind of the opposite of pride. The snail is often associated with the Annunciation and the miraculous conception, having to do with how they believed snails just sort of appeared out of the dew, very miraculous. Also, cloistering, and I think that's what's referred to here. Notice he's kind of saying, hey, let's come out of our shell. And so that's what we see happening in this scene. Here we see porcupine hunters in Afghanistan. I like how the sound is coming out the bell here. The porcupine became a symbol for benevolent kings. Kings who were not aggressive, but this quote kind of sums it up. You touch me, you get pricked. Okay, so leave well enough alone. Also, lions, usually symbol of pride, but I want to show this one because the guy with his hunting horn. Here we see the lion licking its cub here. They believe that the lion cubs were born dead. Okay? And what it is, they're just not adamant, they can be licked alive, awake. So, in Narnia, how Aslan breathes life into things, that's where this comes from, that idea. It's an Aesop's fable. There's also references to another Aesop's fable, the ape represents arrogance, usually, a poor imitation of humanity. Here we see her dropping one of her babies and the hunter getting it. Also, other animals, the beaver is commonly depicted as well. And what's curious about it is that, by the way, beaver in Latin is castor, and it is typical to find them castrating themselves because the idea is that if he castrates himself, he'll no longer be useful to the hunter, right? Because they use the scent glands for perfumes and all kinds of things. What he doesn't know is that you can eat beavers on Friday because they're considered fish, so that's why it's not eating fish. And I'm certain beavers did not do this. Hunting, we see the hunting horn depicted over here. We see the elusive roebuck. Gaston Phoebus' Book of the Hunt. Now, finally, we get some words telling us about how to hunt. Everything, how to train the dogs, what their calls are. You've seen horn history books and they often depict a cartoon version of this scene here. St. Eustace is somebody you should be familiar with, probably not, but here we see he's going through the trials of Job, where his children are being carted off. St. Eustace converted to Christianity. He had a lot of things go rough with him. But the reason he converted was he was a Roman soldier who was out hunting one day, and he saw a cruciferous stag. At that point, he converted. Notice he's got the hunting horn here. That is his symbol. A few centuries later, we get another Belgian French character named Hubert. And this story gets entangled with Hubert. I don't think it actually happened to Hubert, but the story just sort of got transferred from the French and Belgians were tired of all those Italian saints. They wanted their own. So we got St. Hubert. St. Cornelius is somebody that we horn players should know more about. Cyprian, the patron saint of North Africa. These bird cages refer to their martyrdom and confinement. St. Cornelius, his symbol is the horn. His name, Cornelius, in Latin means war horn. So it's very fitting and appropriate. He's kind of I'm surprised he's not the patron saint of horn players, because he's known for his policy against what's called the lapsy, people who are told renounce Christianity or die. And like, okay. But then the question is, can they be admitted back into the church? And so people said no. And he said, we were baptized, you're good, you're good. Well, so second chances. This is our patron saint here with the horn very appropriately. St. Cornelius. Not very popular, but these are more modern renditions of him. I noticed sheep herding.